I would like to start. I hope you can hear me. We have translation English, Turkish. So, welcome to all of you, dear deputy ministers, dear Halil Bey, representatives of our implementing agencies, municipalities, media, civil society, all those who are following us out there. It's a pleasure to organize this event today. It would be even a greater pleasure if we could meet somewhere really and not only virtually, but I'm sure we will get there in the next year. So today we are marking a very important milestone in the implementation of the 6 billion facility for refugees in Turkey. This milestone is the completion of the contracting phase. I recall that the facility was a joint, or is a joint, coordination mechanism funded by the EU and its member states and designed to ensure that the needs of refugees and host communities in Turkey are addressed in a comprehensive and coordinated manner. It was set up after the EU-Turkey statement in March 2016. The EU has funded, through this instrument, many different policies. I just give you the headlines: humanitarian assistance, free charge healthcare, construction of 2 large public hospitals, provisions of education, including language education, and the support for the integration of more than 700,000 Syrian kids into Turkish schools, the construction of, all in all, more than 400 schools, out of which 365 under this program. Some have even solar panels to fit the energy strategies, but also the upgrade and construction of municipal infrastructure, particularly in waste management, in the waste management area. In our press communication, you can find more details about the individual things which have already been achieved. We are, of course, also undergoing a very serious midterm evaluation. But from what I can say already today and what I have seen in my first months here, where I have visited projects in all different dimensions: healthcare, education, municipal infrastructure, humanitarian assistance, but also social economic integration, which is a very important dimension. I think one can say these projects and these programs do serve their purpose, reach the beneficiaries, and have an important impact. This is, of course, due to you, not only to us, but you, our implementing partners, international partners, but also Turkish partners, and of course also to our very good cooperation with our Turkish partners in the Turkish government. I see Halil Bey looking over the screen. So thank you very much also for this cooperation, without which all these achievements would not be possible. Now, today we are marking the signature of the final contracts under this FRIT 2, as we call it, program. They concern, again, sustainable economic opportunities. They concern the delivery of social protection and assistance, health sector, infrastructure, and I will not go into the details of the different projects because we will have you, our implementing partners, give you the floor so that you can present what the action is you are envisaging. Let me make one quick comment to COVID. COVID and the COVID situation has, of course, affected not only all of us, but also the refugee population, the host country community, and our work. So I find it particularly important to thank all those who during this very challenging period have kept these programs up and running and have helped us to come to the point where we can now contract these last contracts in this context. Now, as we are in this, what we call hybrid format, I understand that not all of those who would have liked to take the floor will be able to take the floor, because otherwise we will get lost in translation and in all this kind of communication. So I think we agreed that all the contracting partners will take the floor individually to present their action, and that we will probably, and most certainly in the coming months and years, have time to look on the implementation of the different projects, and then also have more time to evaluate them in more detail, because implementation as of now will be key. Contracting is very important, but only implementation will bring the benefits of these projects to the beneficiaries, to the refugees, and to the host communities. I understand that for other commitments, the Deputy Minister of Family, Labour and Social Services has to leave us a little bit earlier, so against usual practices, we would ask him to take the floor first. So, Deputy Minister Dr. Ertem, you have the floor. It's up to you. Thank you very much.
The program on financial assistance for refugees in Turkey will be also implemented through our ministry, and I would like to indicate my pleasure in being in the contracting ceremony of the 245 plus 20 million euros. In this period where we are in wish for the development of Turkey and EU relations, we do believe that this important cooperation will be an important step for the future cooperation. As we know, the geographical position of Turkey makes us either a transit or a host country for many refugees, and it continues to be so. These people who are struggling for their life, meeting them and hosting them under humanitarian conditions is crucial for the continuation of these funds and this assistance. Because of the events that are taking place in their countries, these individuals whom we are hosting in our country, their education and healthcare services are crucial, and the efforts for them to reach their basic rights is continuing. In this context, the SUE, which is the social adaptation assistance that we provide to foreigners, is actually the greatest humanitarian assistance program in the history. With this program, with the EU financing, and together with the cooperation with the IFRC, the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Associations, and with our partnership, we are actually going to be providing every month assistance to more than 1.8 million foreigners living in our country. These displaced individuals meeting their basic needs, and this is only possible by way of these funds and assistance. The SUE program, which is being implemented currently, is going to be complemented with this fund of 245 million euros. And it is going to be implemented under the coordination of social assistance and under the assistance of the Turkish Red Crescent, which is going to provide an improvement of the facilities provided for these refugees. So we are going to be naming this project TESUI in short as an acronym. This is going to be a complementary social assistance. When we are talking about this particular project, this is going to be an important complementary project to the social assistance program. And as in the SUI project, we are going to be implementing this project through the Kızılay card program. And as we implemented in the previous program, we're going to continue the understanding of humanitarian assistance, and the Turkish Red Crescent will be our main partner. Likewise, the other financial opportunity of 20 million euros, we will be targeting the most fragile Turkish citizens and people who are under temporary protection, and this is going to be used in that particular project. And under that project, within our ministry, we will once again be providing assistance through the Director General of Elderly and Disabled, the Status of Women Director General, and the Child Welfare Services, and the Social Services Director General is going to be coordinating the activities under this project. As you know, in November 2018, this fund was proposed to be allocated to our ministry, and the decision pertaining to this was taken in July 2019, and it was published in the EU Official Gazette. And as of February 2019, we have been cooperating with the EU Turkish delegation, and we have been diligently working on this activity. We have now come to the final stage of the contracting. We actually wished this to be contracted earlier, but we all know the conditions of 2020. Because of the pandemic, we have been continuing our discussions by way of video conferences and such virtual formats, and we have only achieved our position. Thus, I would like to thank the representatives of the EU delegation and the management of the Turkish Red Crescent, and also the relevant units of the ministry for their diligent work on this activity. Finally, Ambassador, who is representing the EU and the EU Commission, we will now declare that we have actually co-signed this document, and we wish that this brings beneficial results for our country.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Minister. Thank you very much for your words, but even more for your action. And I'm looking forward to continuing working with you on the implementation. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to give the floor to the representative of l'Agence Française de Développement, Madame Coupry. S'il vous plaît, vous avez la parole.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Okay. So it's a great honor for me to be here with you on this occasion of the signing ceremony for the action construction and rehabilitation of water supply, waste, water, and solid waste systems and related soft measures to improve municipal infrastructure management efficiency to be implemented by AFD. Our collaboration for supporting Turkey's development needs and its immense efforts to be a safe harbor for almost 4 million refugees is expanding even more since the first action was signed 1 year ago. With this agreement, we hope to bring needed infrastructures and stronger capacities to municipalities and operators in a total of 8 provinces, where a total of 19 projects will be executed with the operational and financial intermediation of our partner, Ile Bank. AFD is also honored to contribute with a loan into this multi-donor action, which will be benefited by almost 5 million people, refugees, as well as host populations. We will get access to improved solid waste treatment services, safe drinking water, and sanitation services. In a time where the effects of climate change are felt on a daily basis, it is a relief to say that around 22 million cubic meters of drinking water will be saved each year thanks to improved operator performance as a result of the action. As the French Development Agency, we are happy to bring in our intense implementation experience in municipal infrastructures of Turkey, as well as our core strengths in urban projects all around the world, backed by dedicated teams both in Turkey and at our headquarters in Paris. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone whose dedication and efforts have contributed to the finalization of this intense process, in particular to our main partners, the EU delegation in Turkey, and Elbank, and all the final beneficiaries at municipal level. I am confident that our commitment to support Turkey will achieve great results in raising the quality of the lives of millions of people who will be able to meet their basic needs, while improved capacities of operators and infrastructures will contribute to the safeguarding of the resources of Turkey and of our common planet. Thank you very much to everyone.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup pour votre engagement et pour votre participation. Now I turn to the Council of Europe's Development Bank. Mr. Bocek, you have the floor from Paris, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ambassador. Actually, I'm in Strasbourg, but France, still in France. So let me say first that we are very pleased to be partnering once again with the EU delegation under the Facility for Refugees in Turkey, and to be able to support Turkey, a founding member of the Council of Europe Development Bank, in addressing the healthcare challenges posed by the unprecedented influx of people seeking refuge from violence in their countries. The CEB is already actively involved in the Facility for Refugees in Turkey. We are currently working on completing the EU-funded 50 million health infrastructure project, which consists of the construction of a hospital in Kilis. And the new health infrastructure project, which we have named Strengthening Healthcare Infrastructure for All, or SHIFA as acronym, will be implemented by the Turkish Ministry of Health throughout Turkey, with the goal to make quality healthcare services more accessible for refugees and persons eligible for subsidiary protection in Turkey. SHIFA is a project ambitious in its size and scope. It will entail the construction or renovation of up to 117 extended migrant healthcare centers, the renovation and rehabilitation of 110 physiotherapy and rehabilitation units in public hospitals, the purchase of medical equipment and supplies, maternity kits, and basic hygiene kits. It will also entail the provision of technical assistance for supervision and procurement support services required by the Ministry of Health. Well, the CEB will manage the project, while the Ministry of Health in Turkey will implement the infrastructure and supply components. To ensure an effective management, and I'm really proud to say it, the effective management of such a complex project, the CEB will open its first ever project office outside of our Paris headquarters in Ankara. You know that the EU is by far the CEB's largest and most important donor, and this agreement represents a strong commitment from our side to further increase our cooperation and impact for the benefit of the most vulnerable. And so I'm very much looking forward to starting this cooperation on this specific project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your...
Çok özür dileyerek, herkesten özür dileyerek ayrılmak.
I would like to apologize and leave the meeting, and I would like to thank you. Apologies, I have to unfortunately leave the meeting. Thank you, and I hope it will bring beneficial results.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Minister, for your presence, and we are looking forward to working with you in the months and years ahead. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
Thank you.
Then I would now, after thanking again Mr. Bocek for the involvement and engagement of the Council of Europe Development Bank, turn to our next partner, the International Center for Migration Policy Development. Madame Pina Yapanoglu, you have the floor, please.
Thank you, Ambassador. Dear Halil Bey, dear Ambassador, dear distinguished guests, we are gathered here today to sign an addendum to the Enhancer project implemented by International Center for Migration Policy Development, funded by the Facility for Refugees in Turkey. On behalf of International Center for Migration Policies Development, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation for this 6.1 million euro top-up to our ongoing contract, which is going to reinforce Enhancer project on providing additional support to small and medium-sized enterprises and cooperatives, which have a potential to create new jobs and new livelihood opportunities with a total budget of 32.5 million euros. Enhancer project has been operational nearly for a year now. In collaboration with our main beneficiary, Ministry of Industry and Technology, we have started our activities and implementation to increase entrepreneurial activities of both Syrians under temporary protection in Turkey and Turkish citizens, local host communities. Our pilot entrepreneurship trainings in Ankara received a lot of demand, surpassing our expectations. And we intend to extend these trainings to 11 provinces covered by our project in 2021, reaching out to 5,000 people. By incorporating our efforts with regional development agencies under the auspices of the Ministry of Industry and Technology, we launched our first grant pilot program of 1.8 million euros, call for proposals for the establishment of local common use facilities in Gaziantep and Şanlıurfa provinces. And we are targeting to sign these contracts next month with the local authorities. Establishment of these local common use facilities will serve to support entrepreneurs and the inclusion of Syrians in local ecosystems. Again, in the context of our grant programs, entrepreneurs themselves will also receive support from our project through microgrants as part of the launch for the startups. The additional budget top-up provided and to be signed here today, we will establish a mechanism for provision of grants to SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises that have a potential to grow and committed to create new jobs. Another modality we will pursue will be the provision of grants to cooperatives that might foster job creation as well. By providing financial support through grants to different actors in the livelihood sector in Turkey, our intention is to enhance socioeconomic inclusion of Syrian refugees by improving employment opportunities. However, I must underline, our target group is not only limited to Syrians under temporary protection in Turkey, but Turkish citizens themselves as well. Furthermore, our project will support institutions such as municipalities, universities, chambers of industry and commerce, industrial zones, entrepreneurship centers, technoparks, and NGOs to foster implementation of harmonious and inclusive migration policy based on innovation, entrepreneurship, and human resources. One may think that Enhancer project is quite ambitious in targeting so many different layers of entrepreneurial activity, but our goal from the beginning of this project was to provide comprehensive, innovative, and inclusive support with a strategic approach to contribute to Turkish government's efforts on harmonization of Syrians under temporary protection. As ICMPD, we have been working to create efficient cooperation and partnerships for making migration better in more than 90 countries worldwide. In the meantime, it has been a great achievement for ICMPD to contribute to overall migration management in Turkey for more than 6 years, starting collaborating with core institutions active in main areas of migration management. Building on our experience in many areas of migration management, development-sensitive migration, we are very eager to contribute more and honored to be present here. We are extremely pleased to be here and express our deepest gratitude to the EU delegation for the opportunity. Many thanks.
Thank you very much. Also, thanks to your contribution in the project and today in this ceremony. Now I turn to Herrn Mildner, die Kreditanstalt für Wirtschaft für Wiederaufbau. You have the floor für die KfW. I don't know how you translate it into English, but I think we all know you. Bitte. We need your microphone.
Sorry. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Dear Halil Bey, Excellencies, ministers, partners and friends from EU institutions and Turkish government, it gives me great pleasure to be part of this important signing event. KfW is proud to be one of the main implementing partners of the FRIT program with the contracts that we will sign today. That brings us up to a volume of 700 million euros in implementation. The overall theme of our interventions has been and will be in the future investing in young people from the refugee communities, but also from the host community. The focus has been on educational infrastructure and social cohesion, and the two actions we will sign today focus on exactly these topics. It is important to give the young a trade, to set them on a path to professional life. So we continue our excellent cooperation with the Ministry of Education, not only in primary education, but also in vocational education. Today, 75 million are made available for investments in technical vocational schools. We will equip workshops in more than 50 schools, but also make sure that representatives of refugee communities have access to the schools and the respective trainings. And another component will help bringing graduates in jobs. All these measures would be futile if no jobs are available. So the second intervention we will sign today aims at fostering employment, in particular for refugees in small and medium-sized companies in Turkey. Our partners are COSGAP, the Turkish SME support agency, which has great experience in fostering SMEs and also in implementing previous EU-funded SME support projects, and the Credit Guarantee Fund that will enhance the guarantees provided to Turkish banks for these purposes. Right now, it only remains me to stress that KfW also in the future will be a dedicated partner both of Turkish government and the European Union in implementing the FRIT program. And I want to thank you for the great cooperation we have enjoyed in the past. and hope that the same is true for the future. Thank you so much.
Lieber Herr Mildner, vielen Dank. Thank you very much. We appreciate also your important contribution to these programs, and wish all your programs as well all the success they deserve. Now I turn to the Ministry of Health, Mr. Deputy Minister Sabahattin Aydin. It's up to you. You have the floor. We welcome you to this exchange.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Distinguished Ambassador, distinguished representatives of the EU delegation to Turkey and international agencies, distinguished management of the ministries, and distinguished participants. First of all, I would like to express my pleasure in being a part of the signing ceremony. The geographical position of our country makes it a transit country, but because of the crisis that is being experienced in the region, is also affecting the historical context of our country, and we have thus adopted a policy of opening our doors to the victimized people, and thus we have become a target country for this group of people. Within this framework, especially for the Syrians that we are hosting, we have been implementing an open door policy, and we have provided them a temporary protection status, and we have been trying to provide them basic services starting from health and education, and we have almost mobilized all our resources to achieve this. Especially on the issue of health for Syrians under temporary protection, our country is providing a parallel service that we are delivering to our citizens as well. And we have expanded the coverage of our health system, not just limited for our citizens, but to cover this group as well. The Social Security Institution has thus adopted a regulation for health implementation, and this is being implemented for the people under temporary protection. So it's not just the institutions of our ministry. When in need, they can also benefit from services from the private facilities as well as from university hospitals, etc. Up to this point, in relation to the health system, we have actually treated more than 77 million people, outpatients, and we have provided treatment for more than 2 million in hospital. Again, we have conducted a lot of operations, and we have had 615,000 births taking place in our institutions. And on an annual basis, we have been providing services with our ambulance services for more than 100,000 migrants. Especially what I would like to underline here is the national vaccination calendar is once again being implemented for our guests, the Syrian guests, and their children as well. These services have been predominantly taken care of by the capacity of our country, but friendly nations and international organizations are contributing to this as well. Of course, the most important contribution is the FRIT program that has been implemented since 2016, and the funding that has been raised to us in the content of this program. In addition to the THAP project under FRIT, we have taken into consideration the construction of the Kilis State Hospital together with the CEB. Sıhhat project is worth 300 million, and this is actually one of the pioneering projects in terms of migrants' health. In the context of this project, we have 29 provinces that have been supported for 175 migrant health establishments, and we have employed a lot of people, especially of Syrian origin, and we have thus provided some equipment to be purchased and provided to the hospitals, and we have also purchased a considerable amount of vaccines, and we have implemented them on the migrant population. As of yesterday, the WHO has declared Turkey as a country which has eradicated smallpox, and it is an important indicator that a country receiving so high a number of refugees is eradicating a disease, and it is one of the indicators of our success. Again, we have actually provided 2.6 million vitamin D and RM preparates to be distributed to maternal health services. We have had more than 400,000 cancer screening activities, and our capacity for migrants' health have thus been enhanced, and we have now increased the access to health services. Under the coordination of the presidency, we are holding this signing ceremony. And as of today, the projects will be signed, and we are very grateful for this. And in this project, we will be conducting Sıhhat, the second phase, and we will be complementing the services that we have already provided in the first phase and working on the sustainability of them, and to work on creating evidence-based solutions to the health services and multidimensional consultancy services. Likewise, in terms of the investments, we have 90 million euros worth of health component investments to increase the health services provided for the migrants. This project, I believe, is going to be beneficial with the contribution of all of the actors here, and I hope that this is going to be an instrument for the ending of humanitarian tragedies. Thank you.
Much for your words and for your deeds. I have had already the opportunity to visit 3 of the refugee health centers in Ankara, Gaziantep, and Izmir, and have had the possibility so myself to see how worthwhile and how important the work which is done in these health centers is for the refugee communities. So thank you very much for your engagement. Now, last but of course not least, we turn to the Vice Presidency. Halil Bey, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Ambassador. We have been waiting this moment since, I think, over 2 years now. I'm happy to hear that eventually we are going to make it the last remaining amount of free fund tools, which is 800 million. But of course, before I start, I must mention for the record the amount the Turkey itself has spent so far reached more than 40 billion. So out of that amount, of course, the support of EU's with this humble contribution is appreciated. So, His Excellency, dear Deputy Ministers, Adnan Bey, Sebahattin Bey, we should all congratulate him. He just happened to be taking care of the free funds in the Ministry of Health. So, the Ambassador, I'm very pleased to address you here today on the occasion of the strengthening of these remaining contracts. And before I start, I'd like to convey His Excellency Vice President Oktay's congratulation message to all parties. And we all know he has been following this migration policy in Turkey since 2011, in which the first Syrian refugees influx to Turkey. And Ambassador, hosting highest number of refugees in the world itself, huge challenge. And on top of that, we all encountered serious delays due to some contractual matters that necessitated prolonged negotiations between parties. And of course, challenge posed by the COVID-19 outbreak. And in view of such a challenge, we have repeatedly stated that we expect the EU and the responsible IFIs, namely now the AFD, KFW, ICMPD, CEB, to finalize the signing process of the projects as soon as possible, no matter the circumstances. Now, we are here that we eventually make it. And I hope that this delay will be compensated, Ambassador, in the implementation phase with combined and accelerated efforts on the ground level. And taking this opportunity, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude to all relevant partners, stakeholders, IFIs, and of course, especially Turkish institutions, and namely Ministry of Health, because they are struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic in Turkey, and on the other hand, they are not leaving those refugees aside. Thanks to them specifically. And also, of course, the EU members for their valuable and dedicated efforts to finalize of this contract. So the Ambassador, in closing, I would like to emphasize that the all combined efforts and commitment, we will achieve more and continue to develop even more beneficial results for the migrants in Turkey and also host community members indeed. And Ambassador, I hope that the process move forward without any unnecessary delay or intervention. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much, and allow me to use this opportunity to repeat how highly we evaluate the engagement of the Turkish government, but also the Turkish society in welcoming such a huge refugee population on its soil, the biggest, as you say, refugee population in the world. We value this a lot, and we know that we are contributing, but that, of course, the main burden is with you. This is clearly understood, and we value this very, very much. And I just quote by ending a sentence which the European Council has adopted just last week, saying that the EU will also be prepared to continue providing financial assistance to Syrian refugees and host communities in Turkey. So there will be a continued engagement from our side. Thank you very much. Now, at this stage, I think after all these words, we will be allowed to have a little break and see a little film. So I ask our studio to put the film on screen so that we can all watch it. Thank you very much.
...2011'de başlayan Suriye krizi büyük bir...
The Syrian crisis, which started in 2011, turned into a humanitarian tragedy, and this crisis actually shook the whole world. Today, Turkey is hosting more than 4 million refugees, predominantly from Syria. And the European Union had been with Turkey since the very beginning of the crisis and continue to support the migrants in Turkey, which was launched in March 2016 with the FRID program. Today, the European Union has fully contracted these 6 million euros, and we are very happy to be able to complete this task. The European Union launched a lot of projects under the education, health, and infrastructure services. Today, this is an opportunity to recognize our common effort and to appreciate this.
At the end of the ceremony, I would very much like to thank all those who have contributed to this success, who have been working in the different ministries, in our partner organizations, but also allow me to thank all those who have worked in the EU delegation on these contracts and on these preparations. Unfortunately, because of the COVID situation, I haven't even had the opportunity to learn all of them personally, to work with them. So a very big thank to all those in all institutions who have made this possible. And I'm sure that after a well-deserved end-of-the-year break, we will all be very much focused on implementation and on speedy implementation of these programs and projects. So thank you very much, and allow me, even if it's only virtually, to applaud you all very much. So all the best for all of you. Thank you very much.
Teşekkürler Sayın Bakanlar.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador and distinguished deputy ministers. Good day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
Arkadaşlar alacağız soruları. Misafirlerimizi bekleyelim isterseniz. Birazcık bekleyelim dilerseniz. Yes, I'm going to present. Yes. Katılımcıyı Zoom'dan çıkartabilir mi acaba? Rensam, evet. Bütün katılımcıları çıkartabilir. Tabii, ben söyleyeyim. Sen dur gel.
Katılımcılar Halil Bey haricinde bütün katılımcılar ayrılmış şu anda. Ama Halil Bey hala bulunuyor.
Tamam.
Mr. Afsharata is trying to leave, but he unfortunately cannot. And Vincent will be assisting him. Vincent, can we start? So, let's take the questions. First from İhlas News Agency. Mevlüt Askül from İhlas News Agency. Is similar funds going to be continued for Turkey? Is there any planning for the coming days ahead of us for the FIRT or similar programs for Turkey?
Well, as I said at the end of my intervention, there is a political engagement both at the level of the European Council, which has made clear in its conclusions of last week, and I quote the sentence again, the EU will also be prepared to continue providing financial assistance to Syrian refugees and host communities in Turkey. And the Commission and the responsible Commissioner, Mr. Várhelyi, is also stating today publicly that the European Union will continue to stand by refugees and host communities in Turkey. You have to see that the European Union has only last Friday adopted its multi-annual financial framework for the next 7 years, that some of the underlying directives and regulations have not yet even been formally adopted between the Council and the Parliament, so that we are at the beginning of a new definition of financial assistance to third countries in general, and this is one of the questions which is, of course, part of this. So at this stage, I can only say that there is a political commitment, but that there are no specific decisions on how to continue the assistance. Yeah.
Başka sorusu olan var mı acaba?
Any other questions?
I would like to point out one or two points you have seen from the different partners with whom we have been signing contracts today, but also in the past, that there is actually a wide range of activities to support refugees and host communities in Turkey. I think it's important to see this wide range as something which is complementary. Each of these different actions makes sense together. Health, of course, in particular under current circumstances with COVID, but also the creation of opportunities, training, and this starts with schooling, but it goes on with training in terms of job creation, vocational training, and the support of enterprises, small and medium size enterprises, so that also jobs are created, that there's not only training, but also job creation. The other dimension, which is becoming more and more important, and here you also have seen individual projects being presented, is support for the municipalities, for municipal infrastructure. We see how much some of the municipalities are burdened by very high numbers of refugees in their municipalities or in their cities. And this, of course, puts a stress on municipal infrastructure. And this modernization and extension of municipal infrastructure is also something which helps to fight climate change, to have more modern equipment, to reduce waste, to help the environment. So it is something which has a profit not only for the refugee communities, but in particular also something for the overall communities living in these cities. And these are investments which are sustainable, sustained, which then will have to be taken up and will be taken up by the local actors. So it's not just a one-off, but it's an investment in the future of these municipalities.
If there are no further questions, we will be ending the meeting.
Much for your participation, and you will find in the documentation we have put on our website or sent around the more detailed information about the different programs, the different number of beneficiaries in the past. So you find more detailed information in the written material. It's easier to read it than for me to read it out. So thank you very much.